Joining us now with the bottom line is Bill Raabe, who is a tax expert at OSU's Fisher College of Business. He has written several books on state and local taxation, and his study for the Alabama governor was used to change the state's corporate tax law. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It. They call you the tax man. They even wrote a song about you.
That's right.
But you're the nice tax man. I'll say that right off the bat. How would you rate Ohio's business tax structure?
Oh, it's too bad. It's a story that really needs fixing, and it's a conglomeration of changes over time that haven't been coordinated. And so it's going to be a while before we can dig out of this thing with a lot of work to do in the meantime. Most studies put us in the bottom 10 of the state business tax climates, and that's probably about where it belongs, which is too bad because our neighbors are all doing much better than we are, and we're stuck.
When you say we're in the bottom 10, are we light years away from being in the top 10, or are we close?
I think we'd be happy to move up 5 spots. It's a long way to the most favorable business climate, and tax is a contributor to the overall business climate, but it's one that people talk about, and so it does maybe carry too much attention, but we need to pay attention to it.
If you look at what some of these other states are doing, is there such a thing as a business-friendly tax structure?
I think that you can find it. Now, I think it's more important what direction the state's climate ratings are changing, and unfortunately we're going down, and actually going down fast. The last 20 years ago we were average, and now we're way below. And so the other states around us have sort of stuck to a similar story, whereas we've been tinkering, and most of these tweaks haven't happened.
Is it easier said than done just to look at another state and say, okay, let's do what they do? It's not quite that simple, is it?
No, and to get from here to there is politics more than tax policy. But you got to set your mind to it and just sort of grit your teeth. And maybe it's painful the first couple of years, but you got to get there. And the last couple of steps we've taken in Ohio have been the wrong way. And so you first sort of have to reverse that and then try and get on a better track.
When we talk about small businesses specifically, are there some taxes that are worse for the small business?
Well, don't overlook the individual tax structure, because most small businesses are set up, they pay salary or they pay their profits to the owners, who are taxed as individuals rather than to the business. And so the delay of the last range of cuts in the individual tax was a really bad idea. I realize there's budgetary concerns, but that hurts small business. Then business-related taxes. About 5 years ago, we decided to phase out the corporate income tax. Great idea, but put in its place something we call a commercial activities tax. It's a tax on gross receipts, and that's just terrible. That's an awful idea for small business, and most of the other states who have put that tax in place have repealed it within 5-10 years. So maybe we'll be one of those.
You mentioned some of those tinkerings and tweaks. Specifically, what would be best to changes in the tax structure for businesses in the long run, some of those tweaks and tinkerings?
The long run would be to get rid of the commercial activities tax, which puts a penalty on businesses during down years. On an income tax, you have a negative year, you get money back. On a gross receipts tax, you keep paying. The gross receipts tax does catch those who otherwise wouldn't pay income tax, like partnerships and drug dealers and others who can sort of evade the tax or avoid it legally under the law. But it really hurts small business in such a way that you want to swallow hard, get rid of it, and put something else in place.
There's a lot of philosophies out there on what we should do as a state to attract business. Are we open for business, so to speak? It's not always the best thing, though, to just give someone a tax-free break to get a business in your state. How do you balance that between luring them into your state and also, not just giving them a free pass?
Well, I think that's an important point, that these short-term tax incentives may get you a win here but a loss on the next one. The other states are doing the same thing. It's tough competition to deal that way. The better answer would be to relax the system, cut rates, and make it attractive for everybody, including small business and their owners and their executives and their advisors, and then you'll end up with the right result.
Bottom line is to be as tax-friendly as you possibly can, and basically what you're saying is Ohio is not really that friendly right now.
And unfortunately going the wrong direction.
What do you think we need to do, final question for you, to make small businesses grow here? Your contention is that it's really tied to the economy.
It is. I think the main answer, especially long term, is just get the economy going again. What you need is consumers with cash, banks willing to lend on lines of credit so that small business can do what they do. And what they do is make widgets or deliver services, but hire people and pay payroll and pay the payroll tax. And that would be the best for everybody. If there's something between now and the end of the year or the end of 2011, we'll come up with a short-term incentive, but then make it expire so that people have to act quickly, and that'll get things going again.
Bill Raabe, he is the tax man from OSU Fisher College of Business. Bill, thanks. Good information.
Thanks a lot, Mike.